This show is supported by State Farm. You have insurance for your home, your health, and your car. Why don't you have insurance for your small business? So many small business owners think they don't need or don't even know about small business insurance. Protecting a source of revenue is one thing, but so is protecting all of your hard work and your team members. State Farm agents are all small business owners too, so they know how to help small business owners choose personalized policies that fit their budgets. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Talk to your local agent today.
If your roof starts to leak or your floor's really squeak, you live in a money pit. Money pit.
If your basement needs a pump or your place looks like a dump, you live in a money pit.
Money pit.
Pick up the telephone, fix up your home sweet home by calling 888-MONEY-PIT.
The Money Pit is presented by RoofMax and Pavestone. Now here are Tom and Leslie.
Coast to coast and floorboards to shingles, this is the Money Pit Home Improvement Show. I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti.
So glad to be here with you guys on a beautiful, sunshiny day here in our neck of the woods. We hope it's beautiful in your area. If you're enjoying the fine weather, well, maybe we'll give you the day off from tackling projects. But if today's a day you are tackling a project, or maybe you got one planned for the days ahead, give us a call. We'd love to hear what's going on. What are you working on? What are you updating? What are you improving? You working inside? You working outside? Tell us your home improvement story. We'd love to hear it. The number here is 1-888-MONEY-PIT, 888-666-3974. You can also go online to moneypit.com/ask and click the blue microphone button. Whether you're on your iPhone, your Android, or your laptop, you can go there and actually ask your question right then and there, and that message will come right to us, and we'll get you in line for an answer. And that's really the fastest way to get answers to your questions. So reach out to us any way you prefer. We'd love to hear from you. Coming up on today's show, we're going to talk about staying cool in the summer. It's not always easy to do, but whether your home has a complete central air conditioning system or just a window fan, we've got low-cost to no-cost tips to help you stay comfortable.
And summer is a season when roofs can really get dried out. And if they do, they're going to form cracks. And you know what that means? A leak is not going to be far behind. That's why now is the perfect time for a roof inspection. We're going to explain how you can do your own and, of course, then head off any leak trouble.
Plus, July and August are the top months for home burglaries. We're going to share tips specifically for do-it-yourselfers to protect your home from break-ins.
But first, we want to know what you want to know. It's our job, our mission to educate, inspire, and help you build confidence on all of those projects that you want to get done.
But your job is to help yourself first by reaching out to us with your questions. The number here is 1-888-MONEY-PIT, or just go to moneypit.com/ask. Let's get to it.
Heading out to Idaho, Gail's got an issue with some stains on some brick. What's going on over there?
I have a question about removing mortar splash stains from exterior brick and whether I could damage it by using maybe a metal brush on a drill so I don't have to scrub so hard with a regular brush.
Now, anytime you get a stain on brick, it's really difficult to get it off because brick is so absorbative. Now, with this mortar splash that's gotten on there, I think what I would do first, because brick is also a bit soft, I would use a wire brush. You would pick one up at a home center or hardware store. It's got a stiff wire bristle. And then I would try to use that wire brush to brush off and brush those areas where the stains are. And you got to be careful because you don't want to damage the brick too much. If you scratch it a little bit, that's okay. Even if it looks a little lighter than the surrounding areas, eventually it'll sort of fade together. But that's probably the first step. And if you want to go deeper than that, you could pick up a wire brush attachment for a drill. And just like a drill bit, it goes into the chuck and it spins around. And you gotta, it's a little bit, it's a little bit wily to handle, right, Leslie? I mean, if you don't have that on the right side, I think it'll handle you. Exactly. It'll handle you. It'll bounce right back in your face. But you know what? Oh, the other important thing though that you should know is that if you're going to use a wire brush attachment on a drill like that, please wear safety glasses because those wires can break off and fly off, and we don't want you to get hurt. So that's the way I would approach this. It's a matter of levels of aggression using a wire brush. You don't want to go too heavy because you'll damage it, but that's probably the best way to get rid of that splash. And hopefully it's not too big of an area.
John in Michigan's on the line right now with the Money Pit and's got a question about deck staining. What's going on?
I've got a stain, and I've used a couple different stains at different houses we've lived at. But anyways, almost all the stains say 6 or 7 years they're good for, but the flats, meaning the decking and the handrails, seem to lose all resiliency to water, and they fade out in just a couple of years, while the spindles and everything that's vertical do last 6 or 7 years.
Right.
But I was wondering if I'm doing something wrong here, or wrong stain, or...
Let me ask you about the stain that you're choosing. So stain comes in different sort of densities. It's available in transparent, semi-transparent, and solid color. Do you know which one you've been applying?
Getting a semi-transparent.
Okay. That's probably the most common, but it's not the one that I would have selected. I would have selected solid color. Some people are afraid of solid color stain because they think that it's like putting paint on the deck. It's really not. You do see the grain through that solid color stain, but it has a lot more pigment in it and therefore lasts a lot longer than semi-transparent. So one thing that I would suggest you do is the next time you're going to stain, use a very good quality stain, make sure the surface is properly prepped in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions, and then apply a solid color stain. And I think you'll see a deck that's going to last a lot longer and wear better at the same time.
Okay, and so if I use the same brand, it should be okay to go over the existing semi-transparent with the new... You don't even have to stay
with the same brand. You know, you can use a different brand as long as you properly prepare the deck before you make that application. So if there's any loose stain or loose fibers of the wood, you may have to do some sanding and some scrubbing. If you do pressure washing, that's okay, but make sure the deck is really, really dry. Don't like pressure wash it and then stain. So pressure wash it and wait a couple of days in the hot sun for it to really dry out before you apply the stain.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Good luck with that project, John. Thanks so much for calling us at 888-MONEY-PIT.
This show is supported by State Farm. Insurance is a part of any solid financial plan. Making sure you have the important things in life covered is one of the best ways to give yourself a little breathing room when things go awry. It's important to protect not only your business, but yourself as a business owner and all current and future team members. State Farm agents know what it takes to run and protect a small business because State Farm agents are all small business owners and they live and work in your community. So they're deeply attuned to what's happening with other small businesses in your market. If you have a small business and are interested in making sure you're protected, reach out to your local State Farm agent to learn more about what you need. They'll help you find the right policy at the right price for your business. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Talk to your local agent today.
Hey, you're tired of living in a money pit? Well, we're here to help. And if you want us to help out, it would be awesome if you could leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Just go to moneypit.com/review. It's only going to take a minute, and it means the world to us. David in Texas is on the line and is dealing with some unwanted issues from a dog. What's going on?
Dog, it's mixed between a terrier and a lab. And she tends to shed. And we've got wooden floors downstairs and carpet upstairs. And tried everything. I walk around the house with a shop vac trying to vacuum, her fur. That's all over the place. And I've got her fur also embedded in the carpet. And sometimes the vacuum cleaner doesn't get it out. That's when I go against the grain of the carpet and I drag the fur out of the carpet. So I'm just wondering if you guys have any secret recipes that I can utilize to help me with this solve this problem.
I don't think I have a good solution for shedding dogs.
I mean, the only issue outside of vacuuming is, are you brushing your dog? They make certain brushes that help you get to the undercoat so that you'll remove the hair before the dog actually has a chance to shed it. So if you're actually on top of the brushing, that might cut down on the shedding.
Fortunately, she's a mix between a lab and terrier, so she's got very short hair. But to your point, Leslie, I haven't done that. I just assumed that, that it would take care of itself, but apparently it hasn't.
Well, it is. It's taking care of itself. It's just not in a way that you like. It's a special brush that allows you to get to the undercoats.
Okay.
And certain times of year, a dog is going to shed more than other times of year. They get like that second layer of fur in the winter months. So it's, maybe you don't have to brush every day, but I would start with that and see if you can make any progress that way.
And also, if the only way you can get this dog hair up is with a shop vac, you might want to think about getting a better vacuum. I'll share with you that I know both Leslie and I have the same vacuum because she recommended it to me, and that's a Miele.
It's amazing.
It really works well. It's very light but super powerful, and it does a great job picking up the dog hair around our house, I'll tell you that.
No, that's wonderful. Thank you. I should have thought about that, but I just assumed. Anyway, thank you so very much.
You're welcome, Dave. Thanks so much for calling us at 888-MONEY-PIT.
Margaret, you've got the Money Pit. How can we help you today?
Yes, I'd like to know what I can do about my popcorn ceilings. They're getting dirty. They're 20 years old.
Well, there's a couple of solutions. Do you like them and want to keep them, or you just want them to not look so dingy?
I would not like to keep them no more.
All right. Well, generally with popcorn ceiling, if it's truly a popcorn ceiling and not like a texturized stucco, what you can do to remove it is you can get one of those garden sprayers or those light duty paint sprayers, put water in it, and you spray the ceiling to sort of saturate the popcorn. And then you take a wide spackle blade, as wide as the one you can find, and you sort of gently start peeling away at the popcorn texture, I should say, from the ceiling. And that generally does a pretty good job, because if you've ever tried to paint it, if you don't have the right roller, when it gets wet, it starts to peel away from the ceiling. So by getting it wet, you're being able to remove it. You just want to make sure with your blade or your scraper that you're not digging into the drywall below it, because keep in mind, whatever's left underneath there is what you're going to paint and then see.
Okay. How do I go about cleaning if I decide to just go ahead and keep this?
Well, you wouldn't clean it. You would paint over it.
Oh, no. No.
Yeah, there's actually a special roller for that. It's like a slitted roller. It's a very thick roller that's got slits in it, and it's designed to squeeze the paint into that popcorn area. And that's exactly what I would do with it. I would paint it. It's going to look a lot better than cleaning it. You just can't clean that stuff. There's nothing cleanable about a popcorn ceiling. You got to paint over it. Good luck with that project. Thanks so much for calling us at 888-MONEY-PIT. Well, whether your home has a complete central air conditioning system or perhaps just a window fan, staying cool doesn't have to cost a bunch of money. So we put together some low-cost to no-cost tips to help you stay comfortable.
Yeah, first of all, let's talk about inefficient windows. Now, roughly 40% of the unwanted heat that builds up in your home comes through your windows. You can update those with double-pane glass windows with low E glass. Now, that E stands for emissivity, and that's what stands between you and lots of heat-producing ultraviolet radiation that drives up those cooling bills.
Next, avoid humidity, right? You probably heard it a million times. It's not the heat, it's the humidity. But did you know that there's actually something you can do about it? You could consider installing a whole home dehumidifier. Now, this removes the proper amount of moisture from your home, and as a result, it keeps you comfortable while preserving your home. These things can take out 90 pints of water a day, so it does really a huge job in terms of reducing that humidity and making you feel a lot more comfortable.
Now, let's also talk about your landscaping. If you carefully position some shade trees, that can definitely help you stay cool during the summer and save you up to 25% of your household's energy consumption for both heating and cooling. Now, on average, a well-designed landscape is going to provide enough energy savings to return your initial investment on that landscaping in less than 8 years.
Now, along with landscaping, let's talk about grading. Just like the landscaping issues, if your house is not grading properly, you're definitely going to be uncomfortable, because homes stay cooler in the summer if the outside drainage conditions are maintained. Poor drainage can lead to higher moisture levels inside the house, which are uncomfortable and also unhealthy.
Now, here's some free things you can do. Besides those low-cost tips, there really are some things that you can do that don't cost anything. You can work at night. Not seriously you, but think about the things in your home that produce heat. The dryer, the dishwasher, that kind of things. Do those things in the night when it's already cooler outside. If you've got storm windows, close them. I mean, truly, they do make a difference in sort of filtering out what can get through your windows. So if you have central AC or in a room where you're running window units, definitely close those storm windows.
And lastly, let's talk about ceiling fans. Now, most ceiling fans are reversible. You really want to take advantage of that. The ceiling fan direction in summer should be counterclockwise. This creates a downdraft, which creates a direct cooling breeze. Now, in winter, the fan needs to be clockwise, and that creates an updraft and circulates warm air around the room. Now, if you're looking for that switch to do that, it's usually a little switch, sort of like a sliding switch on the side of the motor. So find it and switch it so it should be counterclockwise in the summer and clockwise in the winter.
Butch in Texas is on the line right now with the Money Pit and has a question about bathroom venting. What's going on?
I listen to you guys every week, and you solve a lot of my problems that I had with my Money Pit just listening. But
well, we're glad we could help you out. What's going on with this bathroom?
I'm getting ready to put the home on the market, and I had a home inspector come out, and he noted that the bathroom off the kitchen vents directly into the attic.
Okay. So are we talking about the plumbing vent pipe, or are we talking about the bathroom fan?
The bathroom fan.
Okay.
And he said that needed to go directly to the outside.
Yep. Okay.
If I were able to run some flex pipe like you would put on a dryer and vent it out directly to the wind turbine, or do I need to have someone come out and cut a hole in the roof and vent it that way?
So first of all, that wind turbine that you're describing is not a very good attic vent. They're famously ineffective. They look great because they spin, they make noise, but they don't really do a great job venting the attic. So I certainly wouldn't just position an exhaust duct near that. The best way to vent this would be to go to the nearest exterior wall. So if this is like a traditional gable roof, you can use that triangle-shaped sort of end wall of the roof structure and then have it vented out right through the siding. There is a piece of venting material that's designed to go in the wall and not leak. There's also a vent that's designed for a roof. So you can either have one put in the roof or have one put in the sidewall. And that's really the best way to do that. The other thing that you could possibly do, and some people do this, although I'm not a big fan of it, if you happen to have large soffit vents, you could take that duct and run it over towards the soffit, just sort of point it down towards the vent. But the problem is that if you get a lot of moisture and humidity, especially in the winter, you're going to get a lot of condensation on the wood right above it, and that can cause rot. So the best option is to take it right out through the sidewall or through the roof. But as to the idea of just sort of leaving it dangling near that turbine vent, I don't think that's going to work very well.
Okay. I looked at my local home improvement store, and they had some of the flex venting units, but it said that they were not made to run more than like 30 feet maximum.
Well, how many feet do you have to go? I mean, that's pretty far.
Well, unfortunately, to take it to the end gable on the roof where, you know, how they traditionally at each end of the roof, there's
a vent. Yeah, there's a vent.
Right. That's about 40 feet away.
Both ways? So your house is 80 feet long?
It's off the kitchen, so it's about 40 feet from...
Well, look, then I don't think that's a good option. I think you should go up through the roof.
All right.
Have a roof vent put in to exhaust the dryer duct. They make them. It's a certain configuration of vent. And then what I would use is metal flex duct, or you could use solid duct too. You know, you don't have to use flex duct. And I guess if you did want to go out to that gable, you could use solid duct too. Now, you can buy that. It actually is sold flat in sections that are about 6 feet long, and then it rolls and locks together and becomes a round duct, and you can connect several of those together and have a long straight run of metal duct.
Okay, so that would vent the bathroom correctly then. Okay, super.
If that's the worst thing the home inspector found. By the way, good idea having that house inspected before you put it on the market, because this way you know what you have to deal with before a buyer's involved. So good idea doing that. And if this is the worst problem they found, I think your house is in pretty good shape. Well, good luck with that project. Thanks so much for calling us at 888-MONEY PIT.
Thank you both so much.
Pulling up to Mickey D's just for drinks? Oh, yeah, that's me. Nothing extra, just perfection and a straw. Coming in hot for the coldest cups on the block. Because there are drinks. Then there are drinks from McDonald's.
Mix things up with any size lemonade or sweet tea for $1.49. Perfect with our classic fries. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
There was a time when summer surprised us. When galleries opened minds. Adventures opened hearts, and we all remained open to whatever the day might offer. It was a time to enjoy. It was summer, this summer, at Biltmore. Plan your visit or overnight stay so you can enjoy the marvelous works of Chihuly and savor the season. Reserve now at Biltmore.com.
Lisa from Delaware is on the line with a chimney question. Lisa, what can we do for you today?
I have two chimneys. One is a brick chimney, and the other one was a stucco chimney. I recently had them both repaired. The brick chimney needed to be repointed, and above the brick chimney, underneath the stainless steel cap, I guess, I don't know if it's cement or mortar, but that was all cracked. And in the winter, the ice would form between the cracks. So anyway, I had that repaired. The other chimney that was stucco had a hairline crack in it, and they suggested restuccoing the chimney and stippling it, which is like a popcorn ceiling type of an effect.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So all that was done. Now they told me wait about 6 months, and then I should have it sealed to protect it. Now, it's $75 a chimney to get it sealed.
So what they're talking about is a masonry sealer, and you probably don't need this. It's not like you need it to protect it. Usually you put sealers on if you're concerned about leaks. But if you are going to put a sealer on it, they're silicone-based, and you have to make sure that you use one that's vapor permeable. Some of the older sealer products out there are not vapor permeable, and that means that moisture gets in, it gets trapped under the surface of the concrete, and then it'll freeze and spall or crack, and that could actually accelerate the deterioration of the chimney itself. So if you use a good quality silicone sealer that's vapor permeable, it can slow the absorption of moisture into the chimney, but I'm just not sure you need it. The kinds of things that you're talking about doing, except for the total restuccoing of the chimney, I don't know if I would have gone that far just to repair a crack. But the other things that you're talking about are all entirely expected. You know, having to repoint some mortar, having to repair a cracked chimney cap, a concrete cap around the chimney. Those are all normal. I don't necessarily think that putting a sealer on is going to have that much of a major effect of slowing down any further deterioration. I think it's just sort of wear and tear.
Okay, and if it's not vapor permeable, it could even harm it.
That's correct. Exactly right, Lisa.
So I should ask the mason then if it's, but he could tell me anything. He could say, yeah, it is.
Well, it's very easy. Find out what product he's using and go look up the product online and read about it.
But you're saying really it's probably not worth it.
I don't know. I don't know that it's totally necessary. Unless the chimneys are leaking, I probably wouldn't do it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Good luck with that project. Thanks so much for calling us at 888-MONEY-PIT. Well, summer's a season when roofs can get really dried out, and if they form cracks, leaks will not be far behind. That's why now is the perfect time for a roof inspection. We're going to share how to do just that in today's roof review tip presented by RoofMax.
Well, the average roof leak does take up to 2 years to show up inside your home as a stain. I mean, that's a long time for water damage to be happening. If you use a pro to inspect your roof once a year, that really is the best way to spot problems early. However, there are plenty of things that you can do yourself to identify signs of potential leaks.
So start inside by checking the ceilings on upper floors for any stains or other signs of leaks. You also want to pay special attention to the leaks above bathrooms and kitchens. And here's why. The plumbing vents pass through the roof above these rooms, and they often break down, causing leaks. There's a rubber gasket around a plumbing vent, and that will break down. So when it happens, you should replace the gasket. And also check for leaks above fireplaces, another spot where loose flashing can allow rain to seep in.
Now, next, you want to head outside and examine your roof from the ground. You can use binoculars or even a camera that has a zoom lens. And you want to look for loose or missing shingles, as well as loose flashing around your chimney, pipes, even where the walls and roofing kind of come together, all these valleys and areas where these two sections meet. Now, if you spot any problem areas, it's a lot easier to get those minor problems fixed now before they become those major leaks later.
And that's today's roof review tip presented by RoofMax. A RoofMax treatment restores flexibility and waterproofing protection of aging asphalt shingle roofs, extending its life by as much as 15 years. RoofMax treatments come with a 5-year flexibility guarantee and is purchased through a nationwide network of factory-trained and certified dealers who also apply the treatment. And right now they're offering a free tune-up that's completed prior to applying the treatment. They'll fix nail pops, loose flashing, seal cracks, seal exposed nails. It's an $859 value. So to learn more and find a dealer near you, go to roofmax.com. That's roofmaxx.com.
Now we're heading to Arkansas with Butch on the line. What is going on at your money pit?
Hi, guys. Yeah, I've got some water that's coming into my garage, and we bought this house about 4 years ago.
And this wasn't a planned water feature, huh?
No, unfortunately not. In fact, I did two things wrong. I added a parking pad to the double-wide driveway and ruined the sprinkler system in the process, but that's not where the water's coming from. But I think it's my uphill neighbors, flows down, and I think the water is coming down from some of that, and then it's a little bit of it's getting into the garage.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure with all that now parking area, if I don't know that I can divert it, but I didn't know if they made something like a weather strip for the garage floor door that you could glue down just to keep it from coming in.
Yeah.
It's not a lot, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there are those products. There are kind of like saddles for the garage floor and for the bottom of the door, but they're not made to hold back much water. If you've got a steady stream that's coming downhill or running down the driveway, the only way to really permanently deal with that is to put in a driveway drain or a curtain drain. Basically, it's sort of like a narrow trough that gets cut into the driveway all across the front apron of the garage. And the idea is that the water falls into that, collects, and then runs out the end. You pitch them, and you can hook up drains to them depending on how the yard is basically set up. But you got to move the water from in front of the garage to behind it so it doesn't go through the garage on its way to dissipation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and the problem is it's coming down almost parallel to the garage door, but obviously a little bit, and in a heavy rain, we'll get a 3 or 4 foot puddle in the middle of the garage.
That's not good. Well, here's what you want to do is put in a drain across the front of the garage, and also if it's coming sort of pointing towards the side, you could put a curtain drain in there. There's a material for embedding in the soil called Easy Drain, which is kind of like a drain with aggregate sort of built into it. It's got like a foam, kind of looks like styrofoam peanuts that stick to the pipe, and it's surrounded by a filter cloth.
Yeah.
Right, so you drop it in place after you build your trench, and then that fills up and runs the water away. And then for the area right in front of that garage, again, that you would have to actually put an apron in for a curtain drain right in front of that apron, which is a different type of drainage sort of assembly. You'll have to order it, and then you just drop it in place there, and you'll probably could have them both tied together so the water runs through one pipe, and then discharge it wherever you can.
Right.
So depending on how your yard is set up there, get it down past where it's back into the car, into the garage, and then let it out to daylight there.
Excellent. Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Butch. Thanks for listening, and good luck with that project.
Sure. Bye now.
Leah from California is on the line with a question about an AC Freon leak. What's going on, Leah?
My dad has a home, and he had paid a gentleman to replace his air conditioner / heating unit. So he has the one unit outside, and then there's the unit on the inside that has like the heating coil, I believe it is. Basically, the unit's been leaking Freon for the last 3 to 4 years, and the guy came and rejacked it up 2 times, and it's the R22, so the bad kind. We keep getting mixed information regarding how dangerous that Freon leak is, and if it's something that he needs to be concerned with as far as having his ducting cleaned out, or if just getting the machine repaired itself will be sufficient.
So this sounds like a split ductless system where you have a compressor outside and you have like an air handler mounted on the wall inside. I can tell you, Leah, that both Leslie and I have split ductless systems in our home. We think the technology is really good. It's really solid. Unfortunately, in your case, or in your dad's case, it sounds like this refrigerant leak, the Freon leak, has not been actually identified. So we know it exists because you lose Freon, but we don't know why it exists or where it exists. And so the focus really should be here on finding that spot and testing the whole system for that leak, because if we can identify where it's leaking, then you can fix it. The solution is not to just keep putting more in it. And yes, it is an antiquated refrigerant, and it is changing now. I'm sure that continued exposure to it's not a good thing, although it's probably a fairly small amount. And in most cases, this stuff will evaporate out very slowly over time. So I don't think it's a huge exposure, but certainly any exposure is not good. And I think if you can focus on identifying the source of the leak and not just keep putting more in, then I think you get a chance of getting it fixed. You know, the fact that it's using Freon over a more modern refrigerant is not a problem. Most older systems do. And yeah, we are changing over to better refrigerants now, but it's not a reason in and of itself to replace the entire system. If you can't identify the source of the leak, then you got to make a decision as to whether or not you do want to replace it, because I don't see any other sort of half measure that you could take. I hope that makes sense. Thanks so much for giving us a call at the Money Pit.
Well, did you know that the top 2 months for residential break-ins are July and August? Now, here's a common mistake that many DIYers make, and it can actually make your home a lot more likely to be broken into, and it's this. They leave the tools around right outside. I mean, think about it. You put a tool outside, you leave it there, and a burglar's like, ooh, look at this. I can use this to get right in. Hammers, screwdrivers, saws. Heck, you leave a ladder outside and you've got a window open on the second story and you're away for the weekend and somebody's like, ooh, right away. I can get right into your house.
It's like handing them the keys, right?
Seriously.
Listen, guys, after your projects are done for the day, make sure the tools get back into the shed or the garage promptly and that those buildings are also locked down. You'll be surprised to learn how many break-ins happen just because of an easy opportunity. So don't give them one. Don't leave that ladder leaning against the house saying, come to my house, break through my windows, steal me, steal me. Just a really bad idea. Take it down, put it away. Even if you're going to use it the next day, it's not worth taking a chance.
Mike wrote in saying, I'm having a hard time installing a dryer vent tube. The inlet outlet won't line up and I end up squishing that vent tube up against the wall. And I know this is restricting airflow. There's got to be a better way. What products, methods can you recommend?
Well, you're right, Mike. Getting the dryer vent connection right is much more important than most people know, and for several reasons. First off, it's important for safety because dirty dryer ducts are a leading cause of house fires. Plus, the longer the dryer has to work to vent that moisture, the more energy it burns up in the process, not to mention all that increased wear and tear on the clothes as they tumble around a lot longer than they need to. So it sounds like you've tried the very straightforward approach of snaking the vent behind the machine, but the key here is, as you've learned, you got to do this without crushing the vent. Every time you have a 90-degree turn, that is the same resistance as 20 additional feet of duct run. So here's a couple of ideas. You can reroute the dryer exhaust duct inside your house to another exterior wall. So you want to make that as short a run as possible. You can also modify the dryer because sometimes you can bring the dryer duct out the other side. And you should also replace the flex duct with solid ducting. There is solid ducting out there for every possible configuration, including that very tight space between the dryer and the wall. If you get that venting right, clothes are going to dry quick and the dryer will be safe as a result.
Yeah, Mike, do it right. Do it once.
Well, after a couple of months of heavy grilling, your gas grill might be ready for an extreme makeover of its own. Leslie shares tips for a mid-season grill cleaning in today's edition of Leslie's Last Word. Leslie, take it away.
Yeah, you know, that same charbroiling grill action that flavors those ribs and chicken and steaks and all those yummy burgers throughout the whole summer can really start to cause problems if you don't take a minute and do a thorough grill cleaning every once in a while. So here's what you got to do. First of all, you want to soak the grids in hot soapy water because soaking them will definitely break up all of that baked on, caked on yuck. And then clean them with a nylon scrubbing pad. If the grills are really encrusted, you can use an oven cleaner in a well-ventilated area and then rinse clean. Next, you want to remove the lava rock or the ceramic briquettes and clean them with a wire brush and replace any that are deteriorated. Then go ahead and remove the burner, brush it clean, check carefully for cracks, look for split seams, any holes. If you find any, you want to replace that burner immediately. And the last step here is to check all of the rubber gas hoses for cracks and replace any that show even the slightest sign of wear and tear. And once that grill cleaning is complete, you're ready to put everything back together, check all the gas connections for leaks. To safely do this, you want to mix a solution of 50% liquid dishwashing soap and water and kind of brush that solution on all of the gas connections, and then see if you notice any bubbling. If they are there, that means that connection is leaking and you should fix it before you fire up that grill. It's a lot of work. I'm serious. If you don't stay on top of this and you've got a really big cleaning, it can be a while, but the benefits of it are fantastic, and it's going to make that grill last a lot longer.
You know, Leslie, we have a grill, not a particularly fancy grill, but we like it. And I've actually replaced the guts on that twice. New burners, new hoses, the works. There are sites online that sell these for every possible manufacturer of grills out there. And it was great because now I had fresh new burners. I had fresh new grates. Everything I needed was new. There's no reason to buy a new grill. We've been able to keep using the one that we have. So when you start cleaning these things, if you find cracks, take that burner out and just replace it. It's easy to do. This is the Money Pit Home Improvement Show. Coming up next time on the program, summer marks the riskiest time of year for pool drownings, which is actually the leading cause of death to young children. So we're going to share the best way to back up parental supervision and keep kids safe. It's a pool safety approach called Layers of Protection, and we'll share the details for the next edition of The Money Pit. I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti.
Remember, you can do it yourself,
but you don't have to do it alone.
Thanks to State Farm for supporting this show and helping our listeners protect their businesses and lives. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Talk to your local agent today.
Can I really do this? It's what everyone asks at every new stage of life. Sandy Spring Bank has you covered with personalized solutions to buy a house or improve the one you've got, or to grow your business, because that helps our community grow. We'll show you how to save more for the future, wherever it brings you. What's your next financial destination? Sandy Spring Bank. Visit sandyspringbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 406382.